Divine shifts require spiritual readiness. God's blessing is not delayed. It's waiting for your readiness. The moment you understand that truth, your entire perspective on waiting, on setbacks, and on silence begins to change. You realize that God is not withholding blessings from you. He's preparing you for them. Every delay is divine training. Every closed door is divine direction. And every test of your patience is a signal that promotion is near. You see, God never gives elevation to those who are not yet equipped to handle the weight of the next level. We often pray for increase, but we rarely pray for the character to sustain it. We ask God for greater influence, but we don't always ask Him to first shape our integrity. Because if your character isn't ready for your calling, the very blessing you prayed for could become the burden that breaks you. There are seasons in life where you'll feel like nothing is happening, where your prayers seem unanswered, your progress feels paused, and your efforts appear unnoticed. But what if I told you that this nothing happening season is actually the most important season of your life? It's in these quiet, hidden times that God does His deepest work. When no one is watching, He's developing the discipline. When no one applauds, He's building the endurance. When no one validates, He's cultivating the humility that will keep you grounded once you reach the place He's taking you to. Preparation is not glamorous. It's often lonely, uncomfortable, and misunderstood, but it's essential. Before God gives you visibility, He gives you vision. Before He promotes you publicly, He processes you privately. Think about David. He was anointed king as a shepherd boy, but he didn't sit on the throne immediately. God took him through a process, years of tending sheep, facing lions, enduring isolation, and even fleeing from Saul. David didn't waste those years complaining about what wasn't happening. He used them to build faith, courage, and obedience. That's why when his moment finally came, he was ready. God is doing the same in your life. He's preparing you in the pasture before He positions you in the palace. That's why you can't despise small beginnings. The skills, faith, and mindset you develop in your current season are the very things that will sustain you in your next. If you can be faithful when nobody knows your name, you'll be ready when everybody does. Readiness is not about knowing everything. It's about trusting God in everything. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being available for whatever He wants to do. Sometimes God closes a door not because He's punishing you, but because that door would have limited you. Sometimes He isolates you not because He's rejecting you, but because He's protecting you from distractions that could derail your destiny. When you understand that God's timing is perfect, you stop striving and start trusting. You stop comparing your journey to others and start focusing on your own preparation. The same God who anointed David while he was tending sheep is the same God who sees you right where you are. He hasn't forgotten you. He's forming you. You might be asking, if God is preparing me, why does it feel so hard? Because preparation is pressure. You can't become who you're meant to be without going through what you're meant to endure. Diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. Strength is built through resistance. Every time life gets difficult, it's not a sign that God abandoned you. It's evidence that He's stretching you for something bigger. Faithfulness in small things invites favor in great things. When you do your best with what's in your hand, God will release what's in His. But many people want the promotion without the preparation. They want the reward without the responsibility. They want to sit on the throne without surviving the wilderness. The truth is, promotion is not something you earn. It's something you're entrusted with. And trust is built through consistency. You cannot ask God to bless you beyond the level of your obedience. Your readiness is revealed in how you handle the season you're in. Are you complaining or are you cultivating? Are you frustrated or are you faithful? God is watching how you respond to hidden seasons. If you can stay committed when it's unseen, you'll stay grounded when it's celebrated. Sometimes we think God is silent, but He's not silent. He's speaking through circumstances. He's rearranging things, shifting relationships, closing opportunities that looked good but weren't God. He's pruning you, and pruning feels painful, but it's a sign that growth is happening. The branches that bear fruit are the ones God prunes the most. That means if you're being refined right now, it's because he sees more in you than you see in yourself. Preparation always precedes promotion. Before Jesus began his public ministry, he spent 40 days in the wilderness. Before Joseph ruled in Egypt, he endured betrayal, slavery, and prison. Before Moses led a nation, he spent years in the desert. Before the miracle, there is always a moment of molding. Before the breakthrough, there's always a breaking. You may not like the process, but the process is what makes the promise possible. Don't rush it. God doesn't waste anything. Not a tear, not a trial, not a test. Every moment of pain, every season of waiting, every silent prayer is shaping you for something greater. What feels like delay is actually divine design. When God sees that you are faithful with the little, he releases the much. But until then, your job is to stay ready. Stay ready in your spirit, stay ready in your habits, stay ready in your mindset, because when the opportunity comes, and it will, you won't have time to prepare, you'll have to already be prepared. Imagine training for years with no audience, no applause, no recognition, and then suddenly the moment arrives where everything you practiced is required. That's how God works. He prepares you in private for what he plans to do in public. You don't rise to the level of your potential, you rise to the level of your preparation. That's why this season matters. Don't despise the hidden place. It's the gym of greatness. It's where God trains your faith, sharpens your vision, and strengthens your resolve. Every assignment, every delay, every disappointment is building spiritual muscle. You're learning endurance. You're learning to depend on God more than on outcomes. Sometimes God won't promote you until you can praise him in the place you're in. Because if your joy depends on your position, then your faith is fragile. But if your joy depends on your relationship with him, then you can be steadfast no matter what. That's spiritual readiness, when you can worship in waiting, trust in testing, and praise in pain. Don't ask God to change your circumstances until you've allowed him to change your character, because readiness is not about what you have. It's about who you've become. God's blessings require maturity. He won't give a kingdom to someone still thinking like a captive. He won't pour out abundance on a heart still bound by scarcity. He's teaching you stewardship. Can you handle pressure without pride? Can you stay humble when success comes? Can you obey when the instructions don't make sense? Those are the questions God asks before he releases increase. Because divine shifts are not random, they're strategic. And every shift is preceded by spiritual preparation. If you're in a waiting season right now, don't waste it wishing it away. Use it to grow, build new habits, strengthen your prayer life, refine your vision. Learn to trust God's not yet as much as you trust his yes. Because when your heart posture is right, your promotion will find you. You won't have to chase it. It will chase you. You see, readiness is faith in motion. It's living like you already believe what God said. It's preparing for rain before you see a cloud. It's building the ark before there's a drop of water. When you stay ready, God doesn't have to convince you. He can just release you. Every great move of God in Scripture began with a moment of readiness. Noah built, Abraham left, Moses listened, Esther prepared. Jesus waited 30 years for a 3-year ministry. Preparation was never wasted, it was necessary. The same is true for you. You might feel unseen, but you're not forgotten. You might feel delayed, but you're right on schedule. God is orchestrating something greater than you can imagine. You just have to stay ready. Keep your heart pure. Keep your mind focused. Keep your spirit surrendered. There's a reason you've been feeling the pressure. It's a sign that the shift is near. Pressure always comes before promotion. Just like a woman in labor, the pain intensifies right before the birth. And when the shift happens, you won't even remember the struggle. You'll just see the promise. God is about to change your life forever, but he's making sure your foundation can carry it. Don't rush the process. Embrace it. Preparation is not punishment. It's positioning. What you're going through now is not to destroy you, but to develop you. The test is not a setback. It's proof that you're almost ready. So stay faithful, stay focused, stay ready, because when the time comes, you won't just step into blessing, you'll become the kind of person who can sustain it. Remember, preparation always precedes promotion. God is not waiting to bless you. He's waiting for you to be ready to receive. And when that moment comes, when the divine shift arrives, everything will change. The doors will open, the opportunities will align, and the favor you've been praying for will find you faster than you can imagine. But it won't surprise you because you'll already be ready. Would you like me to turn this into a YouTube-ready format next, with timestamps every 5 minutes, SEO description, hashtags, tags, and keywords, Myron Golden style? Sudden change follows silent seasons. When God moves, he often does it suddenly, but never without a process. What feels like silence is actually God setting the stage behind the scenes. There are moments in life when you pray and heaven seems quiet, you ask, and there's no answer. You seek, but doors remain closed. You look for signs, yet nothing appears to move. But in those very moments of divine silence, God is working in ways you cannot see. The silence of God is not his absence, it's his strategy. Every sudden breakthrough is birthed out of a long season of preparation. What you think is a delay is actually divine design. God is never late. He's simply thorough. He's aligning the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing so that when it happens perfectly. You may not see the process, but you'll surely see the result. The invisible hand of God is often at work long before the visible blessing shows up. You see, God does not waste silence. He uses it to refine your character, deepen your faith, and stretch your patience. Silent seasons are sacred seasons. They reveal whether you truly trust God or just the outcome you desire. Because faith isn't proven when everything is clear. Faith is proven when nothing makes sense. Yet you keep believing anyway. Think about Joseph. God gave him dreams of greatness, but then came years of silence, betrayal, slavery, prison, disappointment. There were no explanations, no confirmations, just silence. Yet one ordinary morning, after years of being forgotten, Joseph was suddenly summoned from the prison to stand before Pharaoh. And in one conversation, one divine moment, everything changed. What took years of preparation shifted in a single day. That's how God moves. Slowly in the process, suddenly in the performance. We often want the suddenly without the silent season. We want instant results, but God values internal readiness more than external speed. He knows that a blessing given too soon can become a burden, so he allows silence to teach you to depend on him, to mature your perspective, to build endurance within you. He's not punishing you, he's preparing you. When you feel like heaven is quiet, remember that God is still speaking, just not always in words. Sometimes he speaks through closed doors. Sometimes he speaks through waiting. Sometimes he speaks through stillness, teaching you that his presence is not always loud, but it's always there. Silent seasons teach you to recognize God's whisper instead of only his wonders. Sudden change always comes to those who stay faithful in silence. The people who see God move powerfully are the ones who didn't quit in the process. The waiting season separates those who want miracles from those who are ready for them. It's easy to trust God when things are moving, but can you trust him when everything stands still? Can you keep praising when prayers seem unanswered? Can you keep serving when no one notices? Can you keep sowing when there's no harvest in sight? Because those are the moments that qualify you for the sudden shift. God moves suddenly, but he prepares you slowly. It's like watching the sunrise. For hours it's dark, and then in a single moment, light breaks forth. You can't predict the exact second it happens, but you know it's coming. That's what faith feels like. You may not know how or when God will move, but you can trust that he will. Silent seasons are not wasted seasons. They are where God builds the foundation for the sudden change that's on the way. If you skip the silence, you'll miss the strength. Silence is where you grow roots deep enough to hold the weight of what's coming. A tree doesn't grow tall by stretching upward first. It grows strong by going downward first. The deeper the roots, the greater the stability. In the same way, your silent season is rooting you in faith so you won't be shaken when your blessing finally arrives. When you're waiting, it's easy to mistake inactivity for idleness. But God's silence is never stillness. It's strategy. He's arranging things beyond your sight. While you're praying for change, he's preparing the people who will be part of your next season. While you're asking for breakthrough, he's building bridges you haven't even seen yet. You're worried about the timing, but God is perfecting the details. The truth is, sudden change requires slow preparation because sudden blessings can crush unprepared hearts. You cannot rush what God is refining. A diamond doesn't form overnight. A masterpiece doesn't get painted in a moment. The longer the preparation, the greater the revelation. God is forming something in you that can handle what he's about to release to you. When you understand that, you stop despising the silent season. You start thanking God for it. You realize that what looks like a pause is actually protection. That delay might be keeping you from destruction. That closed door might be saving you from disappointment. That unanswered prayer might be redirecting you to destiny. There's beauty in the quiet. It's where God strips away distractions so you can hear his voice clearly. It's where he detoxes your soul from people, pressure, and pride. Because before he can trust you with more, he must ensure you can handle less. Before he gives you visibility, he gives you vision. And that vision is forged in silence. Sometimes God hides you before he highlights you. He keeps you behind the scenes until the right moment. And when that moment comes, everything that was once slow suddenly accelerates. It's as if years of waiting collapse into a single opportunity. The job comes through, the relationship aligns, the door opens, the favor flows, and people call it sudden, not realizing you've been preparing in silence all along. That's the mystery of God's timing. You can't predict it, but you can prepare for it. You can stay positioned, stay in prayer, stay faithful, stay expectant, because when the shift happens, it won't be time to get ready. You'll have to already be ready. God's sudden moves don't give warning, they give reward. So don't give up in the waiting. You may feel like nothing's moving, but something's happening in the unseen. The silence is not stillness, it's setup. God is positioning you for a move that will make sense of every tear you cried, every prayer you prayed, and every night you wondered if he was listening. He's not just preparing your blessing, he's preparing you for the blessing. You'll look back one day and realize that the very season you thought broke you actually built you. The silence taught you patience, the waiting built your endurance, and the loneliness developed your intimacy with God. What once felt like emptiness was actually the foundation of your elevation. Sudden change always comes to those who endure the silence. Think of Moses, 40 years in the desert, one encounter with God, and his life shifted forever. Think of Ruth, years of loss and obscurity, one meeting with Boaz, and her destiny changed. Think of Paul, years of rejection and hardship, one vision from heaven, and everything transformed. God doesn't forget those who wait faithfully. He rewards them abundantly. You might be in your silent season right now, wondering when the change will come. It might feel like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still. But don't let the silence discourage you. Let it strengthen you, because when God finally moves, it'll be worth every moment of waiting. His timing will redeem the time you thought you lost. God's sudden blessings often show up disguised as ordinary moments. You'll wake up one day and realize everything has shifted. That long-awaited call will come. That door you thought was closed forever will swing open. That vision you carried in your heart will finally become reality. And you'll understand that none of it was random. It was all divine timing. You can't rush what's divine. You can only trust it. Keep doing what you're doing even when no one sees it. Keep believing even when nothing changes. Keep sowing even when there's no visible harvest. Because God is faithful, and when he decides to move, he won't take years to do it. He'll do it suddenly. That's why you can't afford to give up now. The silence means the shift is near. The pressure means promotion is close. The uncertainty means preparation is complete. You are closer than you think. The same God who was quiet yesterday is about to speak loudly through your life tomorrow. So stay ready, stay positioned, keep your faith alive. Don't let the silence silence your worship. Don't let the waiting weaken your trust. Every minute of this quiet season has meaning. Every prayer has been heard. Every tear has been seen. God's not done, he's just about to begin. When the shift happens, it'll be sudden. It won't make sense to others. They'll say, how did it happen so fast? But you'll know the truth. It didn't happen fast. It happened faithfully. You endured the silence. You trusted the process. You stayed in position. And because of that, God can now release the promise. Remember this, sudden change always follows silent seasons. If God has been quiet, it's not because he's forgotten you. It's because he's preparing a miracle so big that it needs time to be arranged perfectly. When the silence breaks, everything will make sense. You'll see why the wait was worth it, why the doors didn't open sooner, and why God took his time. He moves suddenly, but he prepares you slowly, because he's not just writing a moment, he's writing a masterpiece. And when he finally reveals what he's been working on, you'll understand why it had to take this long. The silence was not empty, it was essential. The waiting was not wasted, it was holy. So hold on, stay in faith, keep your heart ready, because the same God who seemed silent yesterday is about to speak suddenly today. And when he does, your whole life will shift faster than you can imagine. Would you like me to format this next into a YouTube speech script with timestamps every 5 minutes, SEO-friendly description, hashtags, tags, and keywords like your previous motivational videos?